Mr. B.
Yeah, it's the Social Millennial Podcast. We out here, gang. Y'all already know what it is. Welcome, y'all. For those of y'all who are new, this is Social Millennial Podcast. It's kind of just a little kickback. Nothing too specialized. Super general. We're just talking, chilling, kicking back regarding topics, stories, things that interested me during the week. It could range from sports and UFC all the way to physics and science. So I hope that y'all have had a great week. Those of y'all who have been with us and who are also new. We are on social media at Social Millennial Pod. That's SocialMillennialPod. On all social media except X. We're not on X. We're definitely on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, y'all. Give us a follow. Give us a view. Give us a like. Interact. The Instagram be popping off. We be throwing. It's basically a meme dump for posts, and then the reels have been popping off lately. So y'all go check that out. We're really curating some interesting stuff over there. Excuse me. For those of y'all who are listening, thank you for listening. Follow us, heart us, like us, comment where you can, review the podcast where you can for those of y'all who are listening. And also for those of y'all who are listening, there is a visual component. What up, YouTube? People can see me, see my pretty face, see the background, see the studio. Thank y'all, YouTubers. Thank y'all watching. You feel me? For those of y'all who like and watch like and listen to the audio and also pull up and at least give me a view on YouTube. Y'all are special. Y'all are the real ones. Thank you so much. Make sure to give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the little bell icon so that you get the notifications for when the video is pulling up. And make sure to comment. Any little bit of interaction helps out the podcast. We're not asking for you to spend a whole bunch of money. Just say what's up. Just swing by. You feel me? If there are any topics that you want us to cover during the week, any things that you see that is interesting, wondering what my thoughts are, if y'all have any responses to what my take is on absolutely anything, absolutely leave a comment where possible. We would love to hear from you. And also, if it is, for some of y'all, if it is that, maybe just giving a like and a comment is not all the way enough to show your support for this podcast and for essentially the brands that I'm trying to develop over here at Marcus Pena Presents. We are on Patreon now. Social Millennial Podcast is on Patreon under the Marcus Pena Presents media group umbrella. It's the first of many shows that I'm going to be producing for y'all. More specific shows, more targeted shows, more targeted subject matter, more distilled subject matter that we will be discussing over there. So you will see me plugging some other YouTube channels. You will see me plugging some other shows and some other content that we have going on that's coming down the pike. Absolutely head on over to the Patreon. So it's patreon.com/Marcus Pena Presents. All right, y'all. Patreon.com/Marcus Pena Presents. I'm probably going to shorten that. So after this episode, I'll try to announce it if every single episode that we've got the Patreon running, and if y'all want to support, y'all can go support over there. But that Marcus Pena Presents is going to be shortened down for that URL right now. Patreon.com/Marcus Pena Presents. Patreon also has an app as well. So you should be able to hit that on the Apple Store or the Play Store. You should be able to pick that up. Listen, if you want to support now, right now we are serving a We Here tier. The tier is called We Here. This podcast has bonus episodes that are hosted over on Patreon. Those bonus episodes are the spicy episodes. So any controversial topics that I'd like to share with y'all, like to talk with y'all about that interested me, I will be putting them over there on the bonus episode behind the paywall. Go check that out. Each episode is in audio format, just like we serve this podcast. We've got audio format and we've got a visual component as well. So you can enjoy both. If you subscribe to that membership tier, you get both for one price a month. If you just want to support what we're doing here at Marcus Penna Presents, want to support the team, we're expanding. This podcast is going to soon be a 2 and 3 camera setup. I'm going to be having guests soon. We're probably going to have a change of setting soon as well. If y'all want to contribute to that and all the rest of the content that we're going to be putting out on the Patreon, there is a supporter tier where it's just, support the brand. You feel me? Just support the brand. You won't get anything especially for free. It's for those people who maybe you don't want to have to pull up to Patreon all the time and partake. Maybe there's certain parts of the content that you don't want to partake in, like the spicy episodes, where I kind of let my hair down and the language gets a little loose. You could just go over there, set yourself up, hit that membership tier, and just contribute every month. Very, very cheap. I mean, I'm not doing Netflix prices. These are not Disney Plus prices. These are not Hulu prices, y'all. I am not trying to hurt y'all bank too much. It's a couple dollars. That's it. I'm not asking for a whole lot. The content over there that I'm producing, it's going to double and triple my output. That will be put into the Patreon and into all those shows and into all that content. So it kind of takes some considerable time, takes some considerable effort. I edit I edit all of these videos, and moving forward, we'll be editing all of these videos that we put out until we can maybe get an editor, maybe possibly kind of sort of. I don't really know. But head on over to Patreon. If you feel like a like and a comment is just not all the way enough of you wanting to show your appreciation for this content, appreciation for an Afro-Latino, with a few things mixed in there, developing something, creating a brand, sort of. I'm really trying to create my own space here. I am an actor. For those of you who don't know, and those of you who are new, I am an actor. I'm a musician. I'm a songwriter, vocalist, multi-instrumentalist. I do my thing in the arts. You feel me? Writer. Do my thing in the arts. And I've been noticing, and maybe this is, we're getting into the podcast now. We're getting into the meat of, we're getting into the thick of it right now. But, I've been noticing with streaming services or the streaming model, being the way to go seemingly for the studios, the film studios and the networks, parts, roles, openings, platforms for people like me are dwindling and are becoming even more heavily gatekept or more staunchly gatekept, because there are even less roles to go around, even less areas where I can kind of fit in. You fit in where you can get in. And so while I'm still out there, so you're going to see me on a few shows, you will see me pass by, you will see me just pop up in the most interesting of places, because there's a bunch of projects that haven't even dropped yet that I can't even talk about or announce or share, that are coming in 2024 because of COVID. They were delayed, their releases. I'll still be out here in the Hollywood zeitgeist. You feel me? I'll still be out here dropping my EPs, dropping my music, but we'll be here. Y'all will be able to be part of those day ones. You feel me? That really want to put that rubber stamp of support on what we're doing here. So thank y'all so much. We laid it all out. Now let's get to it. I hope y'all had a great week. I had a decent week. I was chilling, really getting my scheduling down pat, getting back in the gym. I'm starting to cut weight. I'm thinking about cutting my hair, getting back down to my, number 2 fade, number 2 Caesar. But I keep, every time that I'm like, okay, it's gonna be cut soon, I get compliments on the street for my fro. Like, I'm the dude with the fro. And it took me a while to grow my hair to this height and to this length, which this isn't even really the full length that it goes out to. Just today, I was outside down on 161 in the BX. You feel me? We out here. And there was an old head cleaning the street and was like, yo, is that hair real? Is that real? Old head, white hair dude. And I was like, yeah. He was like, oh my gosh, it's good. Just today I was at Target. Walked past a dude like, yo, your fro. Dude was tatted up. Yo, your fro, bro, is sick. So I be thinking that I want to, cut it. But then I get all these compliments on the existence of the fro. And then I don't. Now, originally I had this fro, story time. I had this fro because I was getting a string of roles that called for the fro, and it helped that I had the fro. So like I could talk about this. When I did The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, it helped that my hair was grown out. Now, it wasn't grown out to the extent that it is right now, but it was grown out. So they were able to do stuff with it, put the part in it, et cetera, et cetera. When I did the final season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And then another project that I can't really talk about yet, but the trailer has dropped for it on, if I'm not mistaken, on Amazon. It helped that I had the fro hair because then they cut it and molded it. It was grown out, cut it and molded. It has since grown out since then more, or like grown back, I should say. But they cut it and they molded it to look for the very specific setting that this series is set in. Very specific circumstances, let me say, as I'm dropping little hints, Easter eggs here. Very specific circumstances, very specific post-apocalyptic circumstances that my character would be in, or my group of characters. So it worked out, and I got so many compliments, not just afterwards, but while I was on set. People were like, whoa, you look straight out of the source material, like straight out of the source material with that hair. So I'm here with the fro still, thinking about cutting it. Thinking about not, I'm kind of getting some other pressures outside, to cut it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let me know in the comments if y'all think it's time, cut this hair. My nigga, the fro is out of style. Okay, you could let me know. You don't have to mince the words. You don't even have to agree with me. But let me know in the comments. Let's get to our stories for today. I've only got 2. Let me get this tea in me. My throat be on another level. Oh man, hitting that ASMR. All right. It seems like I've been on like a New York City kick. I mean, this is a New York City podcast. You feel me? This, that, and the third, we here. BX, born and raised. Y'all know what the deal is. But it seems like I've just been on a kick. We got another MTA story. We have another MTA story today, and we have an Eric Adams story today. Oh my Lord. I'm purposefully not talking about Super Tuesday, purposefully not talking about the Fannie Willis the Fannie Willis disqualification trial, which I'm super knee deep in what the outcome of that's going to be, because that's going to inevitably affect the Trump RICO case that was going on in Georgia. Excuse me. Maybe I'll throw that over on the Patreon. Maybe I won't. And just know, when y'all are listening to this and watching this episode, the Patreon episode is uploaded. I upload them all, or do my best to make them all available at the same time. We usually, the time you'll be listening to this and watching this will be from Friday. These drop every Friday, 6 a.m. and just stay up. That's the audio and the video. That's for the Patreon as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because sometimes Patreon be screwing your boy over. You feel me? Pause. Patreon be on some other level. Sometimes I'm learning because I'm still getting used to Patreon. But yeah. So here we go. MTA chief. This is about the congestion pricing. For those of y'all who don't know, the MTA, together with the state, together with New York City, are instituting a congestion pricing for 60th Street and below of Manhattan. What that means is that they are putting toll sensors. For those of y'all who have been over the bridges in NYC, that's George Washington, Triborough, Whitestone. Triborough is now the RFK, but Triborough, nigga, RFK. Nobody signed off on that name. Triborough Bridge. You'll see they don't have toll booths anymore over here. For those of y'all who are listening and are not from here, they don't have the toll booths here anymore. They did away with that. So now it's like technology, super cool picture taking flash technology that you just drive under, and they take a picture of your thing and they read your Easy Pass, etc. through that. They're adding one of those along 60th Street, horizontally, of course, across 60th Street. So when you pass coming downtown 60th Street, downtown to 60th Street, you're gonna get tolled. They're gonna send you a bill if you've got Easy Pass, and I think it's gonna work with Easy Pass as well. But they're gonna bill you, and this is just what it is. As far as I know, they're not doing Henry Hudson, and they're not doing West Side Highway, and they're not doing FDR. Like, you'll just be able to go down those straight down. But I think if you come off any of the exits below 60th Street, there's gonna be toll things there that are gonna get you. For those of y'all who don't know what's happening, this is what this article is about. MTA chief says $15 congestion pricing is coming to NYC no matter what, as 100 firefighters show up to protest. New Yorkers don't like this. New Jersey people are protesting. The New Jersey mayor, etc., are like, what is going on here? We got the firefighters protesting. Nobody wants this to happen, but it's already happening. I remember back when they were doing back when they were doing the public inquiry regarding this, I don't think there wasn't that many people that showed up, and they did a lot of the public inquiry via like Zoom. It was really weird, but not really that weird, because even though they were going through the process of the public inquiry phases and so on, it was really just going to happen no matter what. Like, they were just going to do it because the MTA wants more money, is money hungry. The city is money hungry. They don't really care about the working class. They don't really care about those who are struggling. Now they got to pay a whole other tax to drive across. Right now, they're doing public inquiry now to figure out what to attenuate the prices to all the way, to figure out who they're going to give discounts to figure out if, firefighters are going to get some kind of special thing or tag, or they're trying to figure out the ins and outs of it, but it's happening no matter what. A lot of people here in the city, this is like going over people's heads. Like, people still think that this is something that's being debated, but it's not. And you'll see in this article, they have a whole town hall about it, and people really think that they're there to argue about it not happening. But it's already happening. It's on the books. We're just figuring out how to implement it. That's it. MTA chief John O'Lieber said Friday that like it or not, congestion pricing is happening, as about 100 New York City firefighters and scores of other foes showed up at a public hearing in Manhattan to protest it. While the hearing was the transit agency's second in 2 days to supposedly listen to the public over the proposed backbreaking new $15 Midtown toll, Lieber told reporters during a break that any attempts to halt the plan are DOA at this point. Quote, This is frequently represented like I went on a drinking binge and came up with this idea in funding the MTA. The agency's chairman and CEO griped of the Metropolitan Transportation Authority's hotly controversial plan targeting drivers traveling south of 60th Street in Manhattan. Quote, it's time for all of you in the press to make it clear this is state law, and we're just trying to implement it in an effective way. This is, quote, this is not about whether we're doing congestion pricing or not. It's about whether the proposed toll structure makes sense and how much to adjust it. Lieber noted that supporters of the plan were turning out for the public comment sessions too, and that the discussion will help tweak its fine print. Wow. Wow. So there were a bunch of, the article goes on to they got a few quotes from the people there where they were like, we didn't even really know that that's what was going down at this public hearing. We thought we still had a say. It's good to know that we don't. The 100 firefighters were wild. Like, they were really there, picketing, really there, like, nigga, what are y'all doing? and they raised some very good points. There was a firefighters union rep there as well to sort of second these points that these guys were making. Let me scroll down to it. Not the elementary school. Crippling new toll will nail an already struggling working class, particularly those in the outer boroughs and greater metro area where mass transit is lacking, forcing them to drive into the city for everything from work to life-saving cancer treatments. Right. They note that the MTA loses millions of dollars a year to such issues as fare evaders and waste, money that could be available for improvements if the agency just did a better job. God damn it. We talked about this in other episodes. Let me tell y'all. Waste. When I tell y'all the MTA is a mafia, they overblow budgets. They go over their prospective time windows for construction projects, and then when they go over that time, they say we need more bigger budget. I mean, they don't cut costs anywhere. They inflate their costs, and then I know that money gets funneled somewhere. I know that extra money does, because it don't take as much as they say that it does when other countries are doing the same projects for half that price and in half the time. Then they want to cry, oh, we need to combat fare evasion. I think I talked about this in the previous episode. Hell no. And I talked about how all of it is connected. Like, what are y'all talking about fare evasion? Just fix it. It's one easy fix. I prescribed it in the previous episode. Y'all go check that out. Like, what are we talking about here? No, we need $400 million to do this, to combat fare evasion. Okay, why are we still suffering from fare evasion year over year over year over year? And we keep giving you hundreds of millions of dollars of the taxpayers' dollars. What the heck? We wouldn't have to do congestion pricing if the MTA was run properly and not like a mafia. Anyway, I'm about to go on that same rant again. Let me get to these firefighters, because I didn't think of this. Let me see. Not the tools. There was a construction worker that will have to carry his tools. A babysitter. That's another thing. They want New Yorkers to take the train, but then the trains are mad. The subway crime has spiked crazy to the point that they're putting double the amount of police patrolling the trains, and they're struggling to find the funding for the overtime for the officers to patrol the trains. But y'all are doing congestion pricing. That's going to make everybody want to use the train. That's going to make everybody have to use the train, and on a train system and train lines that are not built for the kind of traffic, because they had pulled the train service. Remember that during COVID, they decided we're not going to run the trains 24 hours so that we could do all of the construction that we got to do in the nighttime. So now we don't have a 24-hour train service running, and we have tolls going beyond below 60th Street. You got mad people that got to go to 42nd Street, mad people that work in Midtown. The trains can't even handle too much snow and too much rain. The crime is spiking up, and nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room of the migrants and the roving the migrants and the organized crime that's starting to develop. No one wants to talk about the elephant in the room. Now the crime is spiking, and we got all of those hotels in Manhattan filled to the brim with migrants. Women and children going inside of the place, and then all these niggas sleeping outside in the front. What you think they're going to end up doing? What do you think they're going to end up doing? Especially when Biden isn't coming through for them in any in any stretch of the imagination of the foreseeable future. There's no motion as to what's going to happen with them right now. What do you think these able-bodied men are going to turn to when they can't get a job, really? They can't. Anyway, let me get to this firefighter. All right. Dozens of members of the city's Uniformed Firefighter Association gathered outside the building to protest the toll, too, saying it would create extreme physical hardships for them and a potentially deadly scenario for Big Apple subway riders. Quote, So what we're here to explain is that New York City firefighters on a regular basis will start out in one firehouse for the day and be told to go to another firehouse. They've got to pack up their gear bag and go from inside the zone or back and forth. The zone meaning below 60th or above 60th. Said Union President Andrew Ansbro. Quote, it's a long-standing practice that the FDNY allows us to use our cars to do this. So by taking away the ability of us to use our cars or forcing us to pay a fee, you're going to have the members of this department taking that bag with approximately 60 to 70 pounds of gear, personal toiletries, in case they have to decon after the fire, take that pipe, you know how they have their joint, from the firehouse down to the local train or bus stop, he said. Quote, does anyone here think it makes sense to put a firefighter through a 45-minute to an hour and a half CrossFit session before you expect them to come and save your life? The union official added, that bag that they carry is contaminated with a whole host of byproducts of fire, arsenic, formaldehyde, PCBs, all sorts of stuff. So do you think it makes sense? It makes any sense for New York City for New York City firefighters to be forced to take the bus or the subway? Oh my Lord. I'm feeling it. Oh man, I'm drinking this tea. This warmth is loosening up all kinds of stuff. But we here, this is a kickback. Y'all know what it is. So it's all connected. Like I said in the previous episode, it's all connected. Now we're doing a congestion. First of all, COVID basically emptied out New York City. One, we have whole office buildings that are not occupied in Manhattan. One, two, even though Eric Adams did not create a bureau to help customs and help immigration department and officials here in New York City with intake and help the New York Social Services with intake for the migrants that he decided to not turn away. His administration decided to keep them. He didn't create a bureau for that, right? Doesn't create a bureau for that. Intakes them anyway. Has a sitting population of able-bodied working young men and older men just sitting idle, right? Then taxes go up. Along with minimum wage comes the minimum wage going up comes the inflation, like I expected to happen. With the inflation comes higher rents. Here comes higher rents here in the city. So now people are leaving more, and it's becoming more of a struggle to live here because rents have doubled and tripled. They're gentrifying the poorest areas of New York City without the population to really justify building and rezoning these areas to build high 40-floor buildings. We don't have the people. There's no demographic here that's going to pay $3,000, $4,000 for a one bedroom. There's no demographic here. There's not enough people here that make over $85,000, which is the minimum qualification for a studio in one of these luxury buildings that are in the poorest parts of New York City to be able to occupy them. Everybody's struggling. Everyone is struggling because of this inflation issues. Because of the inflation issues, the middle class has moved up. The limits for the middle class have moved up. The middle class are now the wealthy. You've got to be making over $150K to be considered middle class now. So everybody's struggling. And even then, at $100K a year, you're going to be struggling. Because if you're a single person making $100K a year after taxes, that's really like 85. So in order to qualify to pay rent, if you're renting in one of these luxury buildings that they want you to pay $3,000 for, you've got to make $100K at least, but gross, because net that becomes 85K, 80K to qualify. Nuts. So you have all of those tensions, all of that going on there, all of those struggles and all of those pressures already just to survive. Food is hard to buy. Food costs a lot of money. Everything costs a lot of money. salaries not going up, wages not going up the way that they need to compensate. And now you're going to charge us to go past 60th Street. To get to work, you're going to charge us. And then, which I had not put it together before, then you've got the congestion pricing is going to affect the pricing of the stuff that's below 60th. The store's pricing is going to be higher. Because they're probably going to lose business, so they got to charge more so that they could recoup money, so they could pay their leases. The different retail stores, etc. You've got UPS that's going to cost more. FedEx is going to cost more. All of this stuff is going to cost more because they're going to have to add an extra tax tariff fee to the shipping, so that because their trucks have to go through that. It's just it's they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. It's about lining pockets. It's about lining pockets. It's not about running the city in a way that benefits the citizens. It's not about running the city in a way that makes the city thrive right now. Right now, the agenda is to run the city into the ground. I don't know to what end yet. There is an end, but they're running it into the ground for a reason. This is an agenda. Because there's no one in their right mind. Like, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. A plus B doesn't equal C. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to benefit? The MTA? We're going to see all of that money that they're going to get from the congestion pricing is going to disappear. And they're still going to say, they're still going to ask the city, I need another $400 million. They're still going to do it. Still. This is the cycle that's been happening 30, 40, 50 years. They're still going to do it. Why Adams is signing off on this, why Hochul signed off on this, why the legislature signed off on this is because they're just seeing dollars. They're just seeing billions to be made. That's it. That's all it is. They're not seeing me. They're not seeing you. That has to struggle to get your kids to daycare. That has to then huff it down to Manhattan to go work at your job that you hate, that you don't get paid enough to do. At this point, you definitely don't get paid enough to do because the cost of living has gone up without your wages going up. It's just wild. Let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all think it's an agenda? Because I think it is all connected. Do y'all think that there's an agenda here? If this is going to affect any of y'all, let us know in the comments too. This is wild. This is just on another level. We're going to move on. I'm not going to belabor the point. Get this to switch over. But, Lord, why do I feel so thin? It's like coming down because of the heat. But I keep drinking the tea. It's got some active ingredient in it, so it's kind of clearing up my sinuses. So I'm feeling it in the back of my throat. Oh, Lord. We'll get through it, though. We'll get through it. For those of y'all who are new, I put the links to the stories that I'm reading down in the description of wherever wherever you're listening or wherever you're watching. Wherever the descriptions are available, there will be links there, so y'all could read it yourself. Y'all could read the entire article. I'm just kind of picking pieces out of it. Summarizing. FBI, this is according to CBS News, New York. FBI raids 2 homes belonging to New York City Mayor Eric Adams' Director of Asian Affairs. Remember how I told y'all it's all connected? Federal agents searched 2 properties owned by a top advisor to New York City Mayor Eric Adams on Thursday. An FBI spokesperson confirmed that agents carried out morning raids at 2 Bronx addresses, which records show are owned by Winnie Greco, a former fundraiser for Adams who now serves as his Director of Asian Affairs. Oh, my Lord. Federal sources also confirmed the raids to CBS New York. The city's Department of Investigation had opened a probe following allegations Greco tried to benefit improperly from her position. Whoa. Greco was placed on administrative leave Thursday, according to a City Hall spokesperson, a prolific fundraiser. She had worked closely with Adams for over a decade, serving as his conduit to the city's Asian American communities. Oh, my Lord. In November, the city's Department of Investigation opened a probe into her conduct following a news report that raised questions about her political fundraising and whether she used her position in the administration to obtain personal benefits. According to that report, published by the local news outlet The City, Greco demanded that a city employee complete free renovations on her home when he was supposed to be working. Here's the connection. Greco is at least the third aide, because we don't even know about any other people being investigated. Greco is at least the third aide to Adams, whose home has been targeted by federal agents. In November, the FBI raided the home of Brianna Suggs, a top fundraiser for Adams, and Reina Abasova, who worked in the mayor's international affairs office. 4 days later, agents quietly seized the mayor's cell phones and an iPad as he was leaving an event in Manhattan. That investigation, which is being led, it's still going. No one's talking about it, but it's still ongoing, that investigation, directly into Eric Adams and via Brianna Suggs. That investigation, which is being led by Manhattan prosecutors, is believed to be focused on whether the Adams campaign conspired with the Turkish government to receive illegal campaign contributions from foreign sources funneled through straw donors, according to a warrant reported on by the New York Times. All right, y'all. This is the third person now. If y'all ain't from New York and y'all listening to this, we here in New York say, get Adams up out of here. Get him up out of here, coach. We didn't think we were going to get anybody worse than Mayor de Blasio, and we found somebody worse. Somehow, y'all niggas did not vote for Curtis Sliwa. I thought Curtis Sliwa was going to win. Why I thought that is because when I watched the debates between Eric Adams and Curtis Sliwa actually had solutions to the problems coming in. He actually had plans to try shit, like to really try and make it work. And in those debates, the mayoral debates, Eric Adams ain't have nothing. He just said a bunch of taglines in job talk. You know, this is how we do it. You know, I always came, but that's just how he did his jive talking. He did his catchphrases, his dem talking points, bobblehead talking points, and that's it. And I was like, oh, okay. Slee was gonna win this because, like, he's a fresh face. He's lived in the city for his whole life. He's one of the prime guardian angels, if not the founding father, the guardian angels. So he knows this city inside and out. And you're gonna elect Eric Adams, y'all. I mean, here we are. Anybody who's a Gen Xer who comes from the generation past and was out here in the 1970s, the 1980s, they know Eric Adams is trash and is corrupt. He was corrupt when he was a police officer, and he seems to be very corrupt now. All his movements are corrupt. All his movements. Everything we're seeing that's happening, there's a sprinkle of corruption in it. There's a little salt bay of corruption. You feel me? We already covered the story where the Adams administration did no bid contracts, little teens, assault bay teens here, assault bay teens there, did no bid contracts for security services for the hotels where the migrants are. No bid contracts. Then an independent audit from the city, if I'm not mistaken, independent audit came back and showed that the company that they're using, it's like 3 companies that they're using as security for these places, are getting paid exorbitant amount of money an hour, bleeding the city of money. But now Eric Adams wants to go, oh, we need money now, please, more. We got to find more money for police for the crime in the subway. The money went there, getting paid $117 an hour to stand at a door with overtime. How, Sway? A little teens of corruption. Little teens, teensy-weensy teens. It's being found everywhere. 3 of his closest people. Corruption, teens. Him directly, campaign funds. Teens of corruption. Him going, oh yeah, the Texas Governor Abbott is trash for using these people as political pawns and sending them over here. But then back at the ranch, quote unquote bleeding heart Adams doesn't create a bureau to intake them properly. You know that if he created a bureau like we did with Homeland Security, created a bureau for this kind of intake, how many city jobs that would have created? How it would have helped the city in a huge way? Huge way. All kinds of city jobs they could have opened up for a bureau like that because they have to staff it quickly. So many people that don't have jobs right now that could have worked, whether it was a security, whether it was custodial for different buildings, whether it was administrative, whether it was, come on. Bleeding heart, but teens of corruption. Let's let these people come in. We'll roll out the red carpet. I want to give them money cards so that they could, with $7,000, $5,000 in it, I want to divert funding from all of our public services that are here to help the people in need from our city who are citizens who have apported to this economy, who need help. We're going to take help from them, food out of their mouth, money out of their wallets, and we're going to put it in these people's wallets who, my guy, most of them don't even have asylum paperwork filled out. Most of them. And this ain't, I'm not just pulling that from thin air. Most of them fail the application for work visa because they did that already. I covered that story. Only 800 out of whatever thousands of them, thousands of migrants, only 800 of them actually filed the paperwork for the visa that they were going to allow them to file the paperwork to maybe do that to get some of them working. And all of them failed it. All of them didn't pass muster to be able to qualify for a visa. So what are they doing here? Why what are we doing with them if they don't qualify for a visa? And most of them didn't even, because you would think, oh no, they're coming here to find a better life and find work and find a place to live and they're fleeing whatever. These aren't refugees. They're not fleeing a war-torn country. They came here, a lot of them came here for free money, for a handout from the United States because of Biden, the Biden administration, when they came in and took out through executive order, took out all of that. Let me tell you this too. On a side note, the mainstream media wants to flip and turn and twist like Trump is going to be some kind of dictator or something. We got to get him, make sure he doesn't. Biden is on record as being the president with the most executive actions and executive orders in the first 3 months in office than any president ever in the history of the United States. So when you want to talk about a dictator that's going to dictate and that's going to this, look at Biden. Again, whenever you see the mainstream media, whenever you see Biden or them dealing with Biden and letting Biden slide for doing the same stuff that they're vilifying Trump for, I'm telling you, confession through projection, rules for thee, but not for me. Just as a little side note, because it's crazy. And I'm not even a crazy Trump supporter. I'm a supporter for whoever could do the best that they can for the people, for the most people. That's it. If Biden was on point, I'm for Biden. If Trump is on point, I'm for Trump. When Trump is not on point, I'm not for Trump. This nigga be talking crazy. He needs to not talk crazy. He just be talking wild. It's just, even for me, I'm cool. I understand because niggas from New York and we got that New York energy. So he brings the New York energy. You feel me? So I see that. I get it. But my nigga, you the president, you got to chill. You feel me? I bring New York energy, but when you get on your job, you got to be on your job. You can't be out here with the Twitter fingers talking crazy. 9 times out of 10, he's talking crazy and it's crazy. He could have said it in a better way, but he decides to be provocative because that's who he is and that's how he wants to be. But my nigga, you the president. So I could get behind, and then there's times I can't get behind. You feel me? It just is what it is. It's the ebb and the flow. But let me tell you, whenever you see that kind of thing happening, it doesn't even matter if it's Trump or Biden. It could be 2 other opposing people. You see that kind of thing happening, and person A does the same crime that is found guilty of the same crime that person B is found guilty of the same crime that person A is being accused of, but then person B doesn't see any jail time. The media doesn't even talk bad about him. The media doesn't even put it in the light, show it in the light that it's supposed to be. You got to question it. Really good example was that documents case. They did not bring charges against the Biden administration or Biden himself, even though they found that he was keeping documents unauthorized all the way back from 2016, 2017, and maybe earlier than that. And they're only finding out now. And they're like, we're not going to charge him because he's too old and incompetent. So if we put him on a stand to question him, the jurors are just going to look at him like a poor old man, and they're not going to want to prosecute him because, oh, no harm, no foul. So how is he the president, my guy? How is he a functional president again? CNN, MSNBC? Because it was like 4 weeks ago that they were swearing up and down. Oh, he's doing all the work that he's going to do. They had Kamala Harris on talking about he is sharp. He's in the meeting, but they saw that he should go to jail. He should be at the very least charged with the charges that they're bringing to Trump. He should be charged with it, but they're not even going to charge him. I'm telling y'all, that's when you got to question stuff. Because then the media has painted like Trump is some wild person because he had these documents. And at this point, he's just been charged with it. There's just a case pending that they have to go into evidence to go. They have to actually have the trial. They haven't had the trial yet. Well, they had an independent investigation going in to Biden and found it that, yeah, this is something that should be prosecuted. Heinously prosecuted, because it's been going on for a longer time than it went on with Trump, quote unquote. I mean, during Obama era, Biden was pulling documents that he should not have been pulling confidential, keeping them at home. For what reason? Right now, the political theory is this is how the Biden family has been peddling in information and buying and selling information to other countries. And this is how they've gotten their net worth up. There was a recent probe into the Biden son and Biden's brother. I'm telling y'all, we had an IRS whistleblower and they quieted that down mad quick. IRS whistleblower quieted down mad quick because they were going to subpoena for his cell phones and go into discovery because there was a deeper rabbit hole there with this dude's phone records, with Hunter Biden's phone records. And they stopped that because they didn't want nobody to discover the rest of the threads, to pull on that thread. I can't, man. I can't. But then they want to put Trump on trial and convict him on some nonsense legal. Let me not say nonsense legal. It was a horrible display of and display of and use of the law. An absolute proof of the politicization of the Southern District of New York that Trump was found guilty of fraud. And every prominent business person, I mean, the sharks on Shark Tank, every prominent business person is like, that was not good law. And every legal analyst and every legal analyst and lawyer worth his weight in salt, reputable lawyer, is saying that was horrible law and Trump should win on appeal because they didn't make any sense, that ruling. when they went that far on fraud, but they won't even pull the string where the IRS found, government agency found, they silenced that. Come on, y'all. Now I know I go into it. My bad, y'all. That was a nice little tangent, but y'all get my point. I went from Eric Adams all the way up to here. It's trash. It's just corruption. It's just politicians, being out for themselves, being out for their next promotion. You know, Mayor Adams wants to eventually be Governor Adams and wants to eventually be Senator Adams. You know what I'm saying? So they'd rather stroke who they got to stroke. They rather put money in the people's pockets that they got to put money to, their donors and so on. They've got to make them whole. They really work for them. You know, politicians really work for their donors. And unfortunately, right now, the system that we have, political system, I mean, it's been like this for a long time. I'm saying right now. Right now, it's just the most blatant. But right now, you know, our system is extremely politicized. Extremely politicized. Unfortunately. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Should Eric Adams be out of here? Should we get him up out of here, Coach? Do y'all think Curtis Lewa was a better pick? Maybe back then, for the mayor. Do you think he killed it in those debates or nah? Let me know. All right, y'all. We did it. I made it through with whatever post-nasal thing is happening to me right now. We made it to the end. I'm very glad to be here with y'all. I feel very blessed to be able to share this time with y'all. Y'all listening, thank you so much for taking the time. If y'all made it this far, thanks for listening. Make sure to star this podcast. Make sure to heart it. Make sure to give it a check mark. Make sure to share it. Make sure to follow. You know, you're on Spotify, Apple. Follow us so y'all can get the notifications if you're listening. If you're watching YouTube, y'all know what to do. Thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Head on over to the previous episodes. If y'all don't want to do any of the newfangled apps and y'all don't do YouTube or you don't have time to watch it on YouTube, definitely there's a link, a homepage link in the description wherever you're at. Tap on that homepage, save that homepage, bookmark it, maybe put it on the home screen of your phone, and all of these episodes in their audio format get put on that homepage. So it's all there. All the past episodes are there. We're up to what? This is episode 59. Y'all, we are blazing. I mean, it's going to feel like it's blazing because on YouTube, y'all are getting every other episode staggered. Episode 60, the big 60, is going to be over on Patreon, which is up right now. As I'm speaking to you now, that video and that audio for that episode should be over there, uploaded and ready for you to enjoy. Make sure to hit up the Patreon. There will be a link in the description. It'll be patreon.com/Marcus Pena Presents, and that's MARCUS PENA PRESENTS. Marcus Pena Presents. It will eventually get shorter, but make sure to bookmark that. If you're using the app, y'all know where to find it. Put in Marcus Pena Presents. It's gonna pull up. We have a supporter tier. Jump on that supporter tier. We have a We Here tier, is where you're gonna find the spicy bonus episode. Excuse me, the spicy bonus episode. There will be more content. There will be more tiers. I'm gonna be doing movie reviews. I'm super hype about Ghostbusters 3 or Ghostbusters 4. The new Ghostbusters movie. I just saw the trailer. I'm like through the roof. Ghostbusters are back in New York. I'm so hyped right now. I'm also hyped for Kung Fu Panda 4. I want to see that. So I'm going to be putting some movie reviews in another tier. If I'm not mistaken, we'll see how it works. But I will be doing actual sit-down movie reviews, and I will be throwing them on the Patreon. There's some shows that will be coming up. I'm not going to announce the names yet, but Patreon is where it's going to be at. All right, y'all. I may do some YouTube channels for them, but you'll always get the prime advanced release on the Patreon if I ever do other YouTube channels for the extra content. and they'll be in there full as well, because I'm probably going to be setting up some watch alongs as well, so you could react with me to some really cool content, whether it's movies, Netflix shows, whatever it is. We could do a little watch, a little watch along. I'll have a little timer on the screen, and I might throw the highlights of that onto the YouTube. So what I'm saying is, there's a tier for support. There's a tier for the bonus episode. Head over to the Patreon to get the big 6-0 episode. It's been a long time coming getting here. I'm very hype for what the future has to hold and the plans that we got together with. If y'all really want to show some love, become a member of the supporter crew and become a member of the We Here crew. All right. Now, also over there is a shop on the Patreon, and you could purchase the episodes individually, but I would advise you to become a member because it's much cheaper. I have it set up to be much cheaper for you to just be a member. Yeah, y'all. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Be blessed. Don't be afraid out here. You feel me? YOLO. YOLO for real. Don't just sit down and wait. You got to get up and do, because ain't nobody going to do for you. And go out there and get it. All right? Deuces.